Why do people like Trump? Donald Trump is a political talent. People that hate Trump might not want to hear that, but he is. He's a lot more of a political talent than, let's say, Chuck Schumer. Even Chuck Schumer's one fan would have to admit that. He's also more of a political talent than J.D. Vance or Kamala Harris or Kristi Noem or anyone in Congress. The last person in national politics to have Donald Trump's kind of political talent was Barack Obama. And boy, does Trump know that. He knows with an excruciating ache in his bones that Obama was always more popular than Trump will ever be. People said that Obama's talent lay in hope and change. But what does Trump's talent come from? Some people would say things like hate and racism. But that's not exactly where his talent lies. Someone with Trump's political talent would succeed just as well with the Bernie Sanders policy of tax the rich, as well as the kind of policies that Trump has, maybe even better. So what does Trump offer his acolytes? Well, there are a number of theories that claim that Trump's hold on politics can be laid at the feet of the personality traits of his maggots. And I agree that certain personality traits can make a person more likely to gravitate toward Trump. I'll just highlight a few. For instance, Trump clearly has problems with emotional regulation. He also has difficulty thinking clearly and making decisions. He displays an obvious vulnerability when he's criticized, gets all stressed out and flies off the handle, as in fact he is doing today as I record this video. So Trump's followers are likely to have similar feelings of vulnerability. They don't have all the rest of the problems that Trump does, but Trump's visible vulnerability and obvious flailing make him relatable to people who feel the same way. Like they're flailing and vulnerable, confused, stressed, and helpless in the face of an economic environment that is stacked against them, or a country that doesn't seem to offer them much in the way of a future. Trump is also an obvious extrovert, with all the good and the bad that goes with that. Trump's rather gaudy form of extraversion rewards a desire that many people have, the desire to belong to a large social group that doesn't rely on closeness or deep relationships or even much in the way of affinity. Trump offers his followers a community of fellow Trumpers. The community comes complete with merch and visible displays of belonging. So one thing that extraversion often correlates with is a greater desire for external validation. Extroverts often look to others for information, particularly information about themselves. Trump has that characteristic, and so do many of his followers. The Trump cult, as some call it, definitely offers that external validation. To be a little more specific, being MAGA offers people the feeling that they are not alone. That's very important to many people, maybe even to most people. But Trump appeals to more than just a simple human desire to belong. He also displays certain values that appeal to some personality types. Extroverts tend to value assertiveness and speed. Trump is both unusually assertive and unusually speedy. Trump is also lavishly positive about himself and to some extent his followers or people who flatter him. People who hate Trump are well aware of his astounding negativity, but they tend to dismiss his equally astounding positivity on the subjects he has positive feelings about. But to be a hardcore Trump fan also requires a fair amount, or well, maybe even a large amount, of disagreeableness. His most avid fans do not believe that most people are fair, trustworthy, good, or honest. Trump validates these beliefs by telling audiences how unfair and trustworthy, bad, and dishonest other people are. But he also validates those beliefs by being consistently unfair, untrustworthy, dishonest, and downright bad. So paradoxically, these people find Trump more trustworthy because he's so consistently untrustworthy, which is how they believe all people really are. By the same token, people who are suspicious of others often believe that it is only smart to lie to other people to protect yourself, to get ahead. And pretty obviously, Trump relentlessly lies to people, and this is something that they feel is a good trait that he has because it proves that he's smart. And ironically, because they relate to his lies, they tend to believe he will not lie to them. Because why would he need to? They're his fans. Trump also appeals to people who are suspicious of cooperation. I often think Trump is the ultimate champion of international non-cooperation. Again, perhaps ironically, this makes it very difficult for people to cooperate with him, even when they think they are working for him. And to be fair, his followers are so non-cooperative that they wouldn't cooperate with him when he told them to get a COVID vaccine. So they're totally on board with not cooperating with things, no matter who says to do it. So not cooperating is not a great way to get big, important things done, other than perhaps resist change. But his followers find it very enjoyable to not cooperate. On another front, some people find immodesty unseemly. I am one of those people. Trump followers are not those people. For reasons that will remain a mystery to me, the sight of endless garish buildings blazoned Trump do not make these people want to turn away and puke. Obviously, Trump followers also place a low value on mercy, but a high value on fairness for themselves and not others. They also have a high attachment, as many people do, to being perceived as right. This desire to be right is unfortunately paired in many people with a pronounced sensation of not having the right stuff themselves. Trump gives every impression of not having the right stuff. And yet he does achieve some things and tries to achieve many more. Trump allows his own wrong stuff followers to vicariously enjoy his accomplishments and thereby at least partially counteract their own deficits and defeats. One way to look at it is that to his fans, Trump is always, in spite of his wealth and endless bragging, the underdog, taking on people who are better than him. Appealing. Trump is also obviously disorganized and enormously scattered in his thinking and attention, which makes him attractive to other people. His thinking is not very clear and at least somewhat scattered. Trump is also demonstrably lazy. He makes no real attempt to strive for excellence, preferring instead to simply declare himself excellent. Again, highly relatable to people who simply do not wish to strive for excellence. Indeed, Trump's entire agenda of Make America Great Again is to make sure America never strives for anything more ambitious than mediocrity. Even mediocrity is a stretch in many cases. And then we have low self-discipline. Trump does have an area of excellence in terms of superlatively low self-discipline. And he doesn't follow through on his promises. He doesn't complete his objectives, even things he really, 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 really wants to do, like winning the 2020 election. It's not that he forgets what he wants to accomplish, it's that he fails. He's actually quite good at failing. And this is another thing that endears him to his fans. People who feel like failures, perhaps legitimately, can glory in the ascendance of someone who fails as often and as badly as they do. So, Trump's appeal to his devotees doesn't necessarily revolve around policy positions. Policy positions with Trump, they have a tendency to change with head-spinning rapidity. A big part of Trump's political appeal lies in personality traits. Absurdly, in personality traits that are subject to criticism and disapproval in the real world. Personality traits that make people unlikable, but that plenty of us have. We all have at least some of these attributes, at least some of the time. But for some people, not that big a percentage of the population, but a lot of people, Trump is profoundly relatable, not as a winner, but as a loser. And they want to keep cheering him on as long as he retains that loser aura. The moment he stops losing his shit every time someone calls him out, that's when he stops being their hero.